us was the percentage that he got. And, you know, it gives much credence to what others were saying that Dr. Bawumia is not really, the choice of the people in general. 61%, basically trying to say that 40% of NPP delegates rejected Dr. Bawumia. And that's a huge deal. If you have almost 40% of your own people rejecting you, what it basically means is that the party just don't want you. And if the party don't want you, it means that generally the country doesn't want you to lead them. And if you go into what really transpired, Senna, it will not be surprised for us to make that conclusion. Look at how the whole thing started, Senna. The delegates were complaining about just one thing, and that was money. It was not about who is the best leader, who had the vision, who is more competent, compassionate, but rather who was going to pay more. And if you look at the amounts that they were talking about, that someone was given 400 and others were given 300 Ghana cedis, it's now a verdict on your own self that you came in after almost 8 years, you run an economy so bad to a point that you needed to pay your own people to accept you to lead them for a token fee of 400 cedis. That's an embarrassment. That shows that you are being pushed or forced on the people. They just don't like you. 40% have rejected you. So it was not really something that you would say that it was democratic. It was more of the usual, the monocracy that NPP, has always been doing. So for us in the NDC, this gives us more ideas as to how to go around this particular campaign. One thing that it speaks volume, that is that Dr. Bawumia is not in charge of the party. Dr. Bawumia will not be able to have his way in terms of decision making. To be a presidential candidate is to have that total control on your party, to be able to conduct and show that leadership. But where you have almost 40% rejecting you, you will spend your entire time trying to get almost everyone on board. By that time, the election would be over. So it has to go on record that he is the first presidential candidate that got almost 40% of the party delegates rejecting him.
But isn't that the beauty of elections, that they put up different candidates? People have a choice to make. Of course, Bawumia might appeal to somebody, might not appeal to the next person. But for a lot of the time, what we are told is that, in fact, the NPP has been singing that song. Simple. That we've gone to an election, we are done. Everybody has accepted the results. We are, as usual, as always, everybody rallying behind the newly elected flag bearer for victory. Is that not how it works?
Well, you need to go into the nitty-gritties of it, Senna. First of all, you have to acknowledge that NPP paraded, the weakest candidates ever. The weakest, all the candidates were just weak. They were not real competitors. These are individuals that had a vision that one day I want to be president, but as to whether they were qualified or they had that, capabilities to lead, that's a different story. Even if you look at their own past history, they've had stronger candidates than what they presented, in this particular election. And at this crucial hour, you would want to put your best foot forward. And you have Kennedy, Japan, and the likes. I mean, what else do you expect? And still, Bawumia couldn't pull through. He should have like 95%. They would know, okay, yes, 7 years as a vice president, you've had control, you've done enough for your party, and they have trust in you. But to have 40%, almost 40 rejecting you, it's like you just got in. It's like they don't even know you. They don't trust you. They don't think you're capable of doing anything. So it means that the 7 years that you've been a vice president, you've absolutely done nothing. That's what it means. And that's why they were asking you, pay me before I vote for you. Pay me before I vote for you. Okay, now let's go past it, Senna. Dr. Bawumia, he showed one thing, that is, he is visionless. I think that deep down in his heart, he doesn't want to be a president. Deep down in his heart, maybe he's tired. You know why, Senna? Can you imagine someone who has been with Akufo-Addo for almost 16 years, 8 years in the position, almost 8 years as a vice president? If truly Dr. Bawumia had the competence and genuinely need to run and also lead the country, he would have had a vision by now. He would have had a vision by now. He would have had that sense of purpose, why I want to be president. But guess what? When he won and he was giving his speech, he said he will come back with his vision. After all these years, even 7 years in active politics as a vice president, wanting to be president, are you telling me that you couldn't couch a vision, that you don't have any purpose? After everything that you see around you, everything that you claim that you worked around, nothing clicked you to be able to develop any vision for you to say that when I get opportunity to lead, this is what I intend to do. Even Akufo-Addo, in 2007, when he won his primaries, the first thing he did was to mention about his policy, i.e. the free SHS. The free SHS. But with Bawumia, we still don't know what the vision is. What is his vision when it comes to education? We don't know. What is his vision when it comes to the economy? We don't know. What is his vision when it comes to the infrastructure of the country? We don't know. What is his vision on corruption? We just don't know. And this is the man who once upon a time claimed that he was competent. Now you're a presidential candidate. You said we should give you ample time to come back with your vision. And you said, if given the opportunity, what opportunity again does this man need? What opportunity? 7 years, you are still the vice president. You are still the vice president of this country. And you still want an opportunity to do what? Tell us your vision so we can interrogate what you are made of. So that we can ask the right questions and think beyond what you're saying. But unfortunately, Bawumia has no vision. And let's face it, this man just is not his own man. Bawumia is not his own man. His results prove that he's not his own man. He's been installed he's been pushed down the throat to lead the people, just to continue Akufo-Addo's regime. That's what it's all about. He's only here to protect the interests of Akufo-Addo, not even himself. I feel pity for him sometimes. And per what we are seeing, Senna, we want to hear Dr. Bawumia's vision on employment. The unemployment rate in Ghana is astronomically high today. What is his vision? He needs to spell all these things out. And you see the trick that they are playing, pretending like, we are listening. We are listening. This is the vice president that his administration, right, pushed back when Ghanaians were saying that fix the country. He said what? Fix yourself. His own party people, his own administration told Ghanaians that go and fix yourself. Don't ask us to fix the country. Don't ask us for accountability. So now what do you want to listen to us again for? What will you do differently? The ultimate question that Ghanaians would always ask, can we trust Dr. Bawumia with the economy of Ghana? Is Dr. Bawumia his own man? Or he's the shadow of Akufo-Addo? These are the things that we would want to interrogate. So, Senna, if you ask me, it's going to be interesting times, but I don't think that Dr. Bawumia has anything to offer Ghanaians.
So you're still waiting on him to tell us what his vision will be. Can he have a vision that's different from Nana Addo? Is that even possible, considering the amount of faith President Akufo-Addo said he is actually showing him throughout the tenure of his government? The vision seems to be the vision of the two.
Well, Senna, Bawumia is caught up in this whole trap where if he espouses anything different, you know, Ghanaians would ask him, why didn't you do it? When you had the 7 years, 8 years as a vice president. If he continues, they will judge him with, what do you call it? The era of Akufado's, government, whatever that has happened. So I don't know how he's going to get out of it. He's going to spend a lot of time, trying to beg and apologize. That's the only thing he can do. He can go on an apologetical, tour, but campaign. What will be his, message? What does he expect Ghanaians to take, to take him for? So he has a lot to deal with now.
Ready to go.
He has a lot to deal with, but Ghanaians can't trust him. After almost 8 years as vice president, with the high level of corruption, the high level of unemployment, I don't think that Ghanaians can trust, Bawumia with anything. And Ghanaians know for a fact that he's not his own man. He's not his own man.
Well, Mr. Pierre, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Senator, for having me.
I know that Pierre is President, NDC Pro Forum US, joining us this morning on the line, all the way from the United States, to share his view on the decision that has been made by the MPP delegates. Well, we have information of some clashes around the Sege area that we understand has led to the loss of 2 lives or something. We are still trying to verify what really happened. We'll try and get you some further details on that. A clash around the Sege area that's cost the life of 2. When we come back, of course, we'll have more conversations on the decision that has been made, and of course, the flag bearership